Salute. What's up, YouTube? It's your boy BFG, and the place to be, commentating and navigating on these YouTube streets, man. Keeping it 100, because that's all I know how to be. Guys, I bring to you today the question: are gamers today spoiled? And I do fall in this category. I'm not just saying everyone else, so don't come with the barrage. I'm talking about everybody. Everybody that's a gamer right now is spoiled.
Eliminate all of the
and I truly do believe that. And the reason why I even came up with this is because I was talking the other day with a friend of mine, Gaz, from A to Z of Gaming. I will leave that link in the description. And we were talking about retro gaming and talking about the fun it was back then. And you know, after that, I started thinking, and I was like, it was fun and it was great for the time, it was. But now the things that I fuss about in gaming, I didn't even fathom thinking about it back then. Like, seriously. You know, it's so many subjects. Like, number one, man, the first thing I want to get on is autosave. It's a normal thing now to get in the game and either get to a certain point, or even if you just pass a mission and the game automatically autosaves. That was not a thing back in the day. It wasn't. We did not have that. That wasn't even thought of. Matter of fact, back in the days of Nintendo and Sega Master System and all that stuff, man, there wasn't no such thing as save. You know, it was either you gonna play the game, you gonna earn extra lives and get through the game, or you just quit. I mean, you stop where you at, you gotta start all the way over. That's how it was back then. I think of games like, for instance, Battletoads. Man, it's a bunch of every game I can think of. The reason why Contra even came up with the 100-man code, you know, the 99-man code. I mean, it was because there was no saving. It's like you gonna run through this game and have enough men to be able to run through this game without killing all of them, or you gonna just die and start over. That's the way it was for us. And it was something that, it wasn't unusual. You know, it was something we just dealt with because that's just what it was. Like now I see people crying about different things about why doesn't the game autosave here, and why do I have to wait till I get to this certain point to save? And I kind of understand that because sometimes games get frustrating, but man, back then you guys would have been dead. Especially with some of the harder games we had back then. It's like it was just a wrap. Like, for instance, and you know, I give you this though, you did have continues. Some games did have continues. You had a limited number of continues. It might have been one. It might have been at the most, I think I remember, it was 3. You know, you had continues, but after that, once you died, you just died. You were dead. That's it. You got to start all the way over from the beginning. And the games that these guys play today that are considered hardcore, don't get me wrong, they are. You know, from a technical aspect, they are hardcore, but back then we had some real hardcore games. You know what I'm saying? Look, I still got the code. Like I was telling Gaz. Check this out, guys. Get Mike Tyson Punch Out on the emulator, right? Okay, you such a bad gamer and you all that and you saying you can do this and that and this. Look, the code to get to Mike Tyson is 007-373-5963. I still remember that from when I was a kid. And you go ahead and beat Mike Tyson. I'll give you 20 times. Beat him. Beat him. I don't care how good you think you are. Beat Mike Tyson. You know how many times I sat up there and tried to beat Mike Tyson, bro? I tried to beat Mike Tyson 100,000 times. That's why I remember the code. I never could beat him. Games were more hardcore then, and don't get me wrong, they had broken elements, but back then we didn't know where they were broken. We just thought it was part of the game. So that's just what we dealt with at the time. You know, gaming was so different back then, man. It was crazy. But yeah, man, you guys with the saving complaints, I don't even want to hear about that. Because even with that, even when you move up in the gaming cycle, like let's go PlayStation. Let's go to that genre. Or even you could, well, Nintendo 64 fall in the same category. But with those type of games, man, you had to have a memory card. A memory card, and if you had something wrong with your memory card, it would erase all your data. Just picture you've been working on a game and playing it and playing it and playing it for days, for months. And you like right there at the end. You at the end boss. And you just gotta defeat that boss. And your little brother decided to put the memory card in and play some stupid game that he didn't have a profile for on your memory card, and he erased your data. It's gone. Never to return again. Ever. Could you imagine? Could you imagine all those hours you got in Dark Souls and you just playing through for the first time and you almost to the end and then somebody erases your memory? You know how crazy you would go? There'll probably be murders in the United States of America behind that. Seriously. That's what we had to deal with as gamers back then. You know, and when I started thinking about this subject, it put me in the perspective, well, you know what? I kind of cry too much, man. Because I remember back then, we didn't have none of this stuff. Like, guys, man, the loading screens are too long. I wish we had loading screens so we could have the technology to where you have to have a loading screen so it looks that good. Like, seriously. Like, come on, man. People just going off about craziness, and it's retarded, dude. Seriously. But anyway, I digress. Let's see. Let's talk about multiplayer. You know how you can sit here with your friends and, you know, you call them up or text them or whatever, like, man, you want to play Gears of War? And they'll be like, yeah, man, let's play. You know? And you like, cool. So y'all hook up and link up in the multiplayer or send a friend invite or whatever. You didn't have none of that, man. You had to be in the same room with people. And to tell you the truth, I hate that they don't implement that in more games, because that actually made it more fun. Because you were interacting with other people. You were interacting with the people that was next to you, my brothers, my sisters, my homeboys, my cousins. We interacted with each other. Like, for me, and this is just for me, the first multiplayer game that's more than like 2 people that I ever played that I loved, that like got me all the way into it, was 007 GoldenEye. It was so much fun, bro. It's like you sitting up there running and setting proximity mines, and they behind you and they shooting at you, and you got to zigzag to try to get away from them, and they had little secret compartment places you can get into that was in the walls. Man, that was so much fun, bro. To sit down and play that with somebody, with another human being, that was great. Like, that's what opened it up for me. But like, the way you could do multiplayer these days and just have random people just playing, you couldn't do that back then. Now that I think about it, I believe the first game that I played that was multiplayer that was something like that was the first Halo. Because we used to do LAN parties. You know what I'm saying? Get a few Xboxes and hook them all up and just have a LAN party. And it's like we'll be multiplayer. We didn't have to be exactly in the same room, you know, but it was multiplayer, and, you know, it was fun. It was fun back then, guys. I believe the multiplayer these days take away from the humanity of gaming. Yeah, I know that sounds crazy, but seriously, the humanity of gaming. I believe that multiplayer these days takes away from the humanity, because number one, you're being forced to play with people that you don't know. 9 times out of 10, they're gonna have some people in that chat or in that gaming session that's racist, so you got to deal with that. Even if you cut your mic off, in some games you can not be talking and you can hear people talking and saying the most annoying things. It's like, man, shut up and just let me play the game. You understand what I'm saying? It's great when you run in with a team. You know, that's cool. I mean, get your people together and go run in the game. That's gonna make any game fun. But just to be on a multiplayer level, like if you're a person like me, because I play multiplayer with people, don't get me wrong, and I like doing it, but at heart, I'm a single player guy. Like, I'm the type of guy that's gonna play these epic, long, story-driven games, because that's just what I like. You know, and I like the multiplayer games too, but if I had to pick one, I would pick single-player games over multiplayer. But that's me. You know, I guess I'm weird like that, but, you know, I came up in that era where, man, your multiplayer was so much fun because we were right next to each other. You know, like getting pissed off at each other and like you whipping somebody and they get mad and want to cut the system off. You know what I'm saying? All that BS. I mean, but that's all fun. You know what I'm saying? It's I don't know. To me, it's the humanity of gaming with that, you know? And that's just my personal opinion. But anyway, yeah, the multiplayer, man. That's another aspect that we complain about that, you know, we didn't have back then. We didn't even have half of the capabilities. Okay? No DLC. This is a good one because we didn't have any DLC. As a matter of fact, it was better without DLC because you got the whole game packaged at one time. Everything that's supposed to be in that game is in. They didn't cherry pick little things like, let's say gold weapon skins, where we're gonna give them the gold weapon skins in the premium edition. Dude, you seriously gonna charge me extra for the color of a gun? It doesn't change anything about my gameplay. It's just the color of the gun, and I have to pay extra for that. That's ridiculous, man. You know, some DLC is good. I can't say that it's bad, you know, but a lot of DLC is trash, man. And it's really a plague that's in the gaming industry right now. This DLC, man, they taking it way too far. They cherry picking and chopping off everything just to try to make it DLC, and it's something that should be in the game. That's aggravating. But on the plus side, you know, sometimes the DLC is actually an enhancement to a game. You know, can I think of one off the top of my head right now? An enhancement DLC that was actually an enhancement. Okay, let's go with The Last of Us. Okay. The little DLC with the girls and everything. What was the name of it? I can't remember. I hadn't played it in so long, guys. Well, with Ellie and her best friend, that was an enhancement. You know, that didn't have to be in the game. And the game was still awesome by itself. But that just brought more of the backstory of Ellie and how everything came to be. You know, and it's a good thing they didn't start the game like that, because I don't know if I would have enjoyed the game as much if it started that way. I can't say that I would have, but I don't know. But I'm just saying, to me, in my opinion, it was an enhancement. And that's the great thing about DLC. When you can get DLC that enhances a game, that's awesome. But all I'm saying is back then, we didn't have that. We didn't have any option of any of that. The games we got were the games we got. You know, and you know, I liked the way they did it back then. I like the DLC too, but it just needs to be done better, man. Really, but yeah, man. So that's another thing. You know, we fuss about all this about DLC. We didn't even have that back then. Like, seriously. Okay, another point I want to hit on is we didn't have video reviews. We didn't have any of this stuff to where we could look up to. We didn't have none of that, bro. We had like Nintendo Power Magazine, and that was probably it, except for PlayStation had their magazine once they came out, but that was really it, bro. I mean, and that was really more like they had a couple of tips and tricks, but it wasn't like it is now. Like, if I have a problem in a game, I could actually stop that game if I want to be a butt about it and go on YouTube and look up how to beat the part in the game. We didn't have none of that, man. You just had to figure it out or know somebody that knew how to do it or something. You know, it wasn't that simple. Another thing that goes along with that too, like the reviews and everything, and people saying, oh, this game is awesome, and you getting to see gameplay of it to see if you like it. Man, all you had was the back of the box. That's it. You go in the store, look in the back of the box. If the back of the box is cool and it looked like something you wanted to play, you bought it. It was that simple. That was the only formula. It wasn't, oh, let me see what the review's gonna be after the game drops, and oh, somebody recorded gameplay, let me look at it first and see if I'll be interested. Nah, bro, you look at the back of the box and you pick if you want the game. It's that simple, you know? And it's crazy to me the way people fuss about reviews, because don't get me wrong, some people just biased, or they either biased or they're getting paid or something. They're getting compensated. Some people just are like that with reviews, and I understand that. That's cool. I do. I really do understand that, but you still got to look at the beauty of reviews too. You know, a lot of the games that I bought in the past that were amazing games were because they got a great review with Game Informer. Like, they got 10s. It was like, in my mind, if Game Informer gave it a 10 and I read the whole article on the game and it sounded like something I liked, I knew it was a hit. And for the most part, I give it to them. Back then, they were 100% right for me. I can't say for anybody else. I'm talking about for me. The games that I got that were a 10 in Game Informer, I'm going to say, let me say, I'm going to just go 10, 11 on back with Game Informer. Like, they were on point. And, you know, I used that as a gauge. But see, back in the days, I didn't have that. You didn't have none of that. You just was like really shooting in the dark on the cool. You know, I bought a lot of crap games, but I bought a lot of good games too, because word of mouth is what sold games. Like, if you had a friend that had games and they had certain games that you liked and all that, man, that's what sold it. That word of mouth did it. Like, seriously. Yeah, man. That you don't understand how important things are until they're not there. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we can sit up here and complain about IGN and how they give games that's like a 6, a 9.5 because they might be getting paid off. But think if you didn't have none of that at all, man. You know how much money people would lose, like, putting their money in the game just because of what the commercial says? Like, seriously. Just think about that, man. Another thing, too, that goes with that is the whole social media platform, period. We didn't have none of that. So you couldn't message people. And, I mean, think about how awesome it is just to be in chat with a friend that's across the world. I was about to say the United States, the world, and actually be able to play that video game with them. Excuse me. I got a cousin that's been locked up for he's been locked up for a long time, like 15 years. But he's a gamer, and he always was a gamer. We used to game together. And explaining to him how gaming has evolved is difficult because in his mind, he can't fathom it. It's like, yeah, man, I just did a gameplay with my guy in Australia. You know, we got together and played a game, and, you know, I put up some footage of it. He was like, Australia? I'm like, yeah, Australia. He's like, nigga, you ain't played with nobody in Australia. I'm like, yes, I did, bro. That's my homeboy, Cameron Bob Gaming, nigga. Yeah, I did. You know what I'm saying? I'm arguing with him and telling him all these different things, and, you know, the different things about the consoles, and not to buy a game and just play it, because you can't do that these days. You have to buy a game, and if you don't have internet, go somewhere where there is internet so you can download all the updates, because a game will not be, it'll be broken until you get those updates day one. That's just what it is now. We didn't have to worry about that back then. Like I say, the game was already prepackaged, so I'm talking to him about all this stuff, and he thinking I'm crazy. And I'm trying to tell him, I'm like, bro, for real. Watch when you get a chance and you can really game like you want to. Just watch. You're going to see what I'm saying. He's going to be amazed. Like, the whole levels and the ways that these consoles work and everything, man. And we still got nerve to complain about them. Like, come on, man. That's crazy. You know, we didn't have half the features, power, or anything else back then. But it was so much fun. Man, I'm telling you, man, playing Super Tecmo Bowl, fun. Awesome. I loved it. Akari Warriors, loved it. God, there's so many. Of course, Mario. The Street Fighter series, loved it. Like, it was just different back then. And, you know, with me thinking about these things, guys, I think I have a better appreciation of gaming today. I think I do. I really do. And that's just my personal opinion. Seriously. Because when I look at it all, man, we've progressed. Don't get me wrong, in some aspects I believe we moved too fast, but we progressed. You know? And gaming's still a great thing right now, man. You know, you guys out here fighting over Xbox and PlayStation, and I'm not about to do all that, man. Like, I want to make videos about things like that. I made one video on PlayStation and Xbox around the time I first started doing YouTube. And it's still relevant to now. I'm not finna remake the same video. Like, I'm not about to do all that because I'm not thinking like, I always had all systems. I tried to have all of them. You know, that's another thing too. We didn't have that back then. All those console wars, don't get me wrong, it was a console war probably between like Nintendo and Sega or Nintendo and Sony, just on like a personal level with them. But us as gamers, kids, we didn't care. We wanted the Sega Genesis and the Nintendo. You know what I'm saying? We wanted them both. We wanted everything. I did anyway. You know, I don't believe it really became a real separation and difference until, like I was talking to Gaz about, PlayStation was going at Nintendo hard. They like had Crash Bandicoot outside the PlayStation PlayStation offices. Man, I remember that commercial, man. It sticks out in my head. And it was like, wow, man. It's like these dudes, like, you gonna stick with the plumber guy that jumps, or you gonna come with Crash Bandicoot? It was crazy, man. For real. You know, I think that might have like been a spark for it, but we didn't have to worry about that back then, man. We was all about gaming. We just loved playing games. And we were kind of, I want to say we were alienated a little bit, because it's almost like you had to kind of hide you were a gamer, especially if you were like a street guy. You had to kind of hide you were a gamer. You know what I'm saying? Because it was looked at like you were a nerd. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. But, yeah, man, I'm just rambling right now, guys. I really wanted to make this video about us as gamers, man. Us just whining and complaining about all this stuff, and we didn't have half of this stuff back then. And we had so much fun. I think we, as a people, are too much worried about technology now and the technical aspect of it instead of the gaming aspect. We not just gaming and having fun, man. We worried about all this other stuff and frame rates and and resolutions and all that. And that's, don't get me wrong, that's a factor. Especially the frame rate is a big factor, because since I've been PC gaming now, on the PC I have now, I don't really like playing on my console too much because the frame rate is not good. Like, you could tell there's a difference in performance. It's buttery smooth, you know what I'm saying? It makes a difference. But the resolution part, yeah, you want your stuff to look better and all that, but to me, gameplay is the biggest factor though. If you got a game that's fun, like really, really fun, that's the most important thing to me. Like, for instance, Attack on Titan, I see people making videos about it, and people been making videos about it, and you know, whatever, but I'm not playing that game because I'm trying to make a video out of it and impress you guys. I'm playing that game because I like that game. I really, really like the gameplay. Feels awesome. It does. And you know, I stand on that type of thing. Like for instance, my Deus Ex gameplay that I was doing it, and in the middle of it, like now, like I don't even want to touch it anymore. Why don't I want to touch it? Because I don't want to play that game. It's like, it feels very dated, and even as good as the game may be or is, I just don't feel it. It's like, with the offensive things I got to go through with that game, and just the controls, the handling, I don't like that. Like, in that type of game, you can't give me that type of handling. Like, I should be able to hit the left trigger and be able to aim, instead of hitting the left trigger and then I go to a cutscene where I'm up against the wall. Or when I go to do an action and like knock somebody out or sneak up on them and kill them, it's got to be a whole cutscene. That's no. Like, because I work on gaming, and I've been gaming so long, like I just have reflexes like any other gamer. So if I'm playing this game and I just got through playing like Fallout or all the multiple games I played, Far Cry, or whatever I may be playing, and I go to play that game, and I hit the L button, it goes to a whole nother cutscene, and it's putting me up against the wall, and people shooting at me. And I'm like, wow, so now I gotta hit the right stick and try to do it, and they already shooting at me, and it's just awkward, and I don't like it. I don't like it, so I'm not gonna be doing any more gameplay on that. I'm letting you guys know that right now. That's not about to happen. And that's the reason why I'm not even gonna play Mankind Divided, because I know it's gonna piss me off. You know, there's certain things with me that I just can't deal with, and that's one of them. You know, it got to the point where the game wasn't fun anymore because of the way it controlled. I can't move around like I want to, you know. God, I forgot what I was talking about. I started talking about that old trash game. But anyway, guys, we fuss a lot now about our games, guys, and I don't think that we deserve to. I really don't. I believe that we ought to be grateful that we have these different things in gaming that we have. You know, we need to embrace them and just be happy, because it's not going to do anything but evolve. That's all I'm really saying with this whole video. So, yeah, guys, hit me in the comment section. Let me know what you think. If you like the video, thumbs up. If you don't like it, thumbs down. Boy, BFG, and I'm OUT. Salute.